Have you figured out your niche? Are you helping adding value to other people's lives? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Munira's Musings with your host, co-author of Conversations with Top Real Estate Investors Volume 3, Munira Zahabi.
Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira, your host for Munira's Musings. Welcome to another edition. Thank you. Our guest today is speaking to us all Turkey, and that's not the bird, I mean the country. And I've come to know a little bit about her, but she is an enterprising entrepreneur that helps, she's a teacher, and she's helping authors, speakers achieve their dream. Thank you so much, Nasreen, for being on our show.
It's a pleasure, Munira. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. A little bit before we jump into the interview, I'll tell you a little bit about who I am and what it is that I do and what Munira's Musings is about. So I am Munira Zahabi. I live in Chicago with the family, and I am the niche navigator, and I help people, coaches, business entrepreneurs, and people in general who are trying to make a change to find their niche. That's what I do. This niche is a cornerstone of your business, and without that cornerstone, your whole foundation will be wobbly. And, you know, most people don't understand why this is so important, but it is important because it's the core being of your business. You can expand after you've grown into that, but, you know, you have to have this core. Munira's Musings came about on my journey looking for my niche, and I found several people in this world who are doing extraordinary stuff, extraordinary things with the gifts they've received. And so I became an ambassador to expose them and to promote them on my show, because everybody's had a journey, and I'm a curious personality where I want to learn more about other people and what their journey entailed to their success. So this is my way of doing this show, and it's a way to bring intellectual minds together on this segment, because there's somebody out there who needs your help. It's just a way to connect people. Well, enough about me. Nasreen, let's get to you. Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm actually South African, Munira. I was born there, and I spent the larger part of my life in South Africa. I am actually a graduate from a university in education and training, and I spent 10 years in corporate training. I was a trainer, motivational speaker, seminar and public speaker in South Africa. And I also spent a lot of my time writing training material for a lot of colleges and universities in South Africa. And then after 10 years of doing that, one fine day, I decided to swap the high heels and suits for the chalkboard and dust coats here in Turkey. And I decided to do an ESL program, and I came out here wanderlusting 7 years ago. I started teaching children at schools here in Turkey. I was traveling around initially from school to school, city to city, traveling through the places, seeing the places, experiencing them, and then finally landed here in Antalya, where I've settled down for the last 3 years, and I've been teaching here for the last 3 years. Somewhere along the way, the writing bug bit, and I decided to give that a spin while I'm here in Turkey as well. And that's what I'm busy with at the moment, in a nutshell.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what made, I'm a curious personality. I said that. So you'll have to forgive my questions. But what made you decide that I don't want to work with corporate anymore? I don't want to work with all of the instructional design stuff. I want to go and teach students. Now, first, before we ask that question, I'm curious to know, what age are you teaching, and then why teaching and why Turkey? You know, so
Uh-huh.
many questions.
All of them in one. Let's start at the beginning. Turkey was supposed to just be a year's sabbatical. Actually, when you're training corporate in South Africa, a lot of your life is spent on the road. A lot of your life is spent in the training room, and you're sort of working, training and administering at the same time, and that can get uh, quite taxing on a person. It wasn't so much that I left because it's a taxing job. It's quite enjoyable. The number of people you meet on a day-to-day basis, what you learn from them, what you teach them, and the relationships you actually establish with them is phenomenal for your own growth and development. And that's the part that's enjoyable. But everybody reaches a point where they get an awakening that something is missing from their lives, and there is something else that they want to do. At around that point in time, I just came out here on a vacation, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the atmosphere. I enjoyed the people that I was meeting, and I think I enjoyed the safety and security that the country actually presents. For a person coming from South Africa, and a single woman traveling, that leaves a big impression on you. When I went back home from the holiday, I sat down and I thought about it. It's a feeling, intuition. It's an intuition that you need to be in a certain space at a certain part of your life. And that was when I said, well, hey, the brain still ticks, the body is still fit. I can do this if I want to, and if I put my mind to it. And I am a person like that. When I decide something, and when I think I can do it, and when I want to do it, I will do it. And that's what I did. It was supposed to be a year's sabbatical. I was supposed to come out here, travel, teach, enjoy myself, and go back to the corporate world, because that's where I thought I belonged. But after doing it for 1 year and living in this space, 1 year became 2, 2 became 3, 3 became 4, and 4 became 7.
Well,
And
I
now
like
this
the
is
fact
almost
that
4.
you're sharing mind over matter, right? That's the first thing. It's the mindset,
Yes,
you
yes,
think you can do
absolutely.
it. And even if the thought begins and you think, this is a thought that it's growth, right? It's an incubation period when your thought begins to incubate. And then when your idea begins to germinate, is then have to do it. And that's the process where it scares most people, because they have ideas, and ideas die every day because
Yes,
they haven't
absolutely.
incubated it or germinated them.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. And, I like the fact that, you took that step and are out there. Thank you for sharing that. So why did you decide to teach English? I mean, is there a need for that realm? Is there for a subject? You could have taught anything.
Mm-hmm. That's right. English primarily because I think it stems from the roots, really. I was good at English at school. I was good at communication. It is something that I enjoy. It is something that I am good at doing and teaching as well. It didn't matter that I was in the corporate space. I enjoy reading. I enjoy writing. I enjoy communicating. So when you think about what you want to do, and I think this was pretty much the thought process at that point in time, it's not so much that I had to go through a coaching program to find out what my passion is. I always knew that language was a passion. I'm the kind of person who picks up language very quickly. So you kind of have this at the back of your mind all the time, that this is what I'm good at. This is what I can do. I just haven't explored it as yet. So the decision to actually teach English in a foreign country while traveling, which is also a passion, stood at the top of the bucket list. Yes, this is the right time. Yes, I am at the right age. I am mature enough to do it. I am strong enough and healthy enough to do it now. And yes, it is the best time now. And when you know that that is right, your intuition tells you that, and you need to listen to what I call guru gut. I call intuition guru gut. Guru gut is always trying to tell you the right thing at the right time. When you ignore that, you end up making the wrong decisions for yourself, because your mind says no, but your heart is saying yes. And sometimes you've got to let the mind go and let the heart take over in order to do what is right for you. And that was pretty much what drove it. That was pretty much what drove packing up an entire household, selling off some of your belongings and saying, this is it, I'm going to do it, I'm gone.
Awesome. I love it, because there's that bug that bites at me as well, right? And
Right.
And that's how I've become the niche navigator, because I left a corporate job, and there were circumstances that allowed me to do that. But now that I'm here, I used to have until the last year, I used to have many doubts, but there was something at my heart, right, gnawing at me. It's like, no, you need to do this. You need to do this. And I am, and I'm very happy, because I'm just happy. I'm a happy person in general, but this makes me happier. Okay,
Absolutely.
so let's talk about author, right? You're an author, and so you've used that skill that you've acquired, English, and now you're writing. Tell us about that.
Like I said, Munira, it all stems from your roots. I was always good at it. Mom played a very big part in all of us, all our siblings being good at English. So it's always been something that we've been able to use very, very powerfully in all of our lives, whether it was orating or whether it was writing. But the shot at authoring came as a happy accident, actually. I had joined Farooq Sensei Sahib's leadership program about 2 years ago. And on that program, the challenge was to actually write a book in a month for the group that I was with. So we formed this group, and we were on the John Maxwell's 21 Laws of Leadership, program. And we were all brainstorming and trying to find out how we're going to present anything on leadership in a book we can call our own. So, creativity takes over, and the idea came up that we'll tell it in the form of stories. We will tell ordinary people's stories in extraordinary ways, and in that way we will write a book about the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. So that happened in about a month and a half by the time we published, and that was my first shot at authorship. The bug bit, because later on when I wrote Ignite the Champion Within and Inspire Others to Begin, I told, it's a collection of my own quotes that I collected over the years, but I substituted that, or I actually, with that, I actually told stories about myself and other people I knew. Subsequent to that, when that became a bestseller, with the grace of Allah, then Farooq invited me to actually work on his third book, which was Ignition, Answering the Call. On that project, it entailed actually working with other leaders, authors, and coaches, and telling their stories. So through that project, where I had to actually edit stories, ghostwrite stories, transcribe stories, translate stories, I actually happened upon my niche. The talent to do it was always there, but actually getting into the process of helping others to write their stories is a happy accident. He simply asked for help. I gave the help, and I found my niche. That also became a bestseller with the grace of Allah. And since then, I have actually now just, because it's my niche, it's what I'm good at, it's what I'm passionate at, through word of mouth, believe it or not, I still believe that word of mouth marketing is one of the biggest, sellers of what you do and what you offer. Through word of mouth marketing, Alhamdulillah, I can say that I have had so many calls from so many authors, wannabe authors, coaches, trainers, speakers who want to publish their books, who want to write their books, but don't know how to approach it. And that's how I happened upon my niche.
That's awesome, right? And so sometimes, so there you go. This is something, it's a very extraordinary thing, because some people look for their niches, and then for some, it just falls into their lap. But this way, it fell into your lap, but the thing is, you started giving help, right? And so sometimes that's what we got to do, is help others to find theirs, because you will find yours. And that's how it happened to me, because I've been telling people about their niche and what they should be doing in their life. And many people have taken this advice, believe it or not. But they've taken this advice because they believed it, and they accepted that I knew what I was talking about. But I never thought of it as a business until, just recently, when I had to market myself and everything. It's like, I'm so good at this, and I had other people come and tell me, hey, you know what, you helped me with this, so you're in the right business.
Well,
so
those are lucky people, Munira. Those are lucky people. Sometimes when you ask the question, well, what are you good at? What are you passionate about? And you would get a response like, sometimes
yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
So
yes.
if people actually know, it's really a good thing.
It's good, right? And it's a feeling of freedom. You get, it feels like there's a lot of burdens been taken off your shoulders. And that's one of the best things in life, because you don't want to be the normal person that everybody else believes that you are. You want to be extraordinary, you're unique. And this is what exactly you're sharing today. Okay, so tell us a few things that most authors find overwhelming and how they can help them. This is your time to give us a few tips.
I think the number one thing that I hear or I read from many wannabe authors, prospective authors, is, I know I want to write a book. I have always wanted to write a book. This is what they say. I have always wanted to write a book, but I don't know how. How? Here's the thing. Everybody has a book inside of them. Okay? You have to become aware of what is around you. Who is around you? Stories are around you every day. Stories are happening every day in your family, in your friend circle, in your friend's friend circle. There's an interesting bit of information everywhere around you. There are millions of stories to tell. Become aware of that. People say that you've got to go on a writing course. No. If writing is inside of you, writing will come. You have to be aware of what is going on around you. You have to be able to identify that will make a good story, that is the story I want to tell. The next thing is you need to become excited about it. If you're not excited about it, you can't tell it in a compelling way. Now, I'm sure people are wondering, well, what's so exciting about an author's story? Or what's so exciting about a coach's story? It's exciting. It is compelling. You know why? Because the pain to prosperity aspect of life, or the rags to the riches story in life, is still something that interests people. People want to read about it. People want to read about your pain, about your journey. You know, it's great. I've reached my niche and I'm enjoying it. I look great, I feel great, I'm excited, I'm enthusiastic, I'm shouting from the rooftops. Yes, I've done this. But what was my journey in getting there? That's the interesting story. That's what people want to know. So I just stress that this is not some school you go to. Yes, there are many schools that will teach you to write, will give you writing prompts, but the real story comes from inside. It comes from people around you. It comes from what you are seeing and hearing. It comes from your own excitement to tell that story. So if you think you have it in you, you probably do have it in you. What you have to do is become more aware of yourself and those that are around you and what is happening around you. And write. Find the time to write every day. Writing is like the muscle in your body. The more you exercise it, the more toned the muscle gets. Writing is the same. If you read what I wrote in my first book, you'll say, okay, average author. If you read what I've written for Aspire to Inspire, which is the latest one that has been published, okay, you can see growth because I've explored from simply writing and I've taken self-development into poetry. Okay, so the writing muscle has grown. You've got to be prepared to take the risk and do things that others are not doing.
See, and that's what the niche is about, is like, take that risk, step out of the comfort zone. You know, you have the ideas, you have the power to make this happen, right? And
Absolutely.
that's an awesome piece of advice. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I've done that because I didn't realize that I could write, and I write extensively, and I have to do it every day and be consistent about it. But the thing is that there's, like you said, stories coming to mind every time, and you just need to write about something. You don't have to think of a story. It's some incidents that happened to you, to somebody else that you witnessed, you know. Anything that comes to mind is what you have to speak about and write about. And that, like you said, expands the muscles and makes it toned, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. You have shared a lot of advice. How does one get in touch with you?
Well, that's easy. I'm pretty much contactable on Facebook. I have a fan page. It's called @author Nasreen V. So if you look me up on that page, author Nasreen V, you will easily find me. So you can contact me on Messenger, and then you can contact me on my email address, which is nvariyawa@yahoo.com. That's nvariyawa@yahoo.com. Pretty simple. Look me up on Facebook and you'll find me. You'll find me on Instagram. You'll find me on LinkedIn as well. I'm everywhere.
Good, good. So there you have it, folks. If you want to start writing, take this journey, start writing. You know, put down your stories. You may have to massage it a little bit, but at least you have something on paper. You know, I have an uncle who has wonderful stories that he talks about, and there's nothing on paper, and now he's got dementia and he's forgetting them. So whatever we know of is what we've documented, but that's it. So we don't want that to happen to you, right? Because things happen, life happens, things. Recently, I've heard of a lot of things that are happening to people that are not good, and that you don't want that to happen. You want to leave a legacy behind. So leave at least a story, you know, just write your journal, write a page of journal. This is what happened here. And that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much, Nasreen. I really, really appreciate the time, and am honored and humbled that you are on my show. I really appreciate it. We will leave, Nasreen will leave her address, her Facebook page where you can find her below in the comment section. If you are interested, contact her. Otherwise, if you like and share, if you can like, share, and subscribe to this channel, I would really, really appreciate it. And you know, our next segment. Thank you.
Thank you, Munira, for having me. Bye,
You are
viewers.
welcome. Bye. Salam.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi. If you enjoyed our show, please share and subscribe to this channel. And for more content, please join our Facebook group called Navigate to Your Niche.